Lee Kuan Yew was born in 1923 to a Hakka Chinese family when Singapore was part of British Malaya. He excelled at an early age. He was the top student in the whole of the country and went on to study law in Cambridge. After seeing how Britain failed to defend Singapore from the Japanese invasion in World War II, Lee decided that Singapore had to govern itself. After graduation, he returned home. On November 12, 1954, Lee co-funded the People's Action Party, or PAP. The goal was self-government and an end to British colonial rule. The party won a landslide victory in the 1959 elections. Singapore became self-governing, and Lee was its first Prime Minister. In 1963, Singapore joined the new Federation of Malaysia, but the union lasted less than 2 years. In August 1965, Lee formally announced the separation and the full independence of Singapore. He then began seeking international recognition for the new city-state. 1 month later, Singapore joined the UN, and 2 years later, it co-founded the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Under Lee's leadership, the PAP was in power for a quarter of a century. For decades, Singapore had been plagued by high unemployment, a severe housing shortage, and widespread corruption. Per capita GNI rose from some $400 in 1960 to more than 7,000 by the mid-1980s. Full employment was achieved, and a proportion of the population living in public housing rose from 9% to 81%. Corruption was largely eliminated through comprehensive legislation and an effective enforcement agency. Its director reported to Lee directly. Lee stepped down as Prime Minister in November 1990 after 3 decades in power. He had overseen Singapore's transformation from a colonial outpost with no natural resources into an Asian tiger. Lee Kuan Yew is not only regarded as the founding father of modern Singapore, but also as one of the most influential political figures in Asia.